Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Yesterday, I was talking about using your imagination and paying attention to your inner talk. I'm reading from Neville Goddard's The Power of Awareness and Awakened Imagination, and I'm going to continue with the chapter on the coin of heaven. This is such powerful material. Yesterday, I read from Neville Goddard, the circumstances and conditions of life are outpictured inner talking, solidified sound. Inner speech calls events into existence. In every event is the creative sound that is its life and being. All that a man believes and consents to as true reveals itself in his inner speech. It is his word, his life. Try to notice what you're saying in yourself at this moment, to what thoughts and feelings you are consenting. They will be perfectly woven into the tapestry of life. To change your life, you must change your inner talking. For life, said Hermes, is the union of word and mind. When imagination matches your inner speech to fulfilled desire, there will then be a straight path in yourself from within out, and the without will instantly reflect the within for you, and you will know reality is only actualized inner talking. In the Bible, James 1:21 states, receive with meekness the inborn word, which is able to save your souls. In the beginning was the Word. How powerful that statement, and yet how ignorant we are of that meaning. What words do you use to describe yourself? How do you identify you? What do you say after I am? I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am loved. I am respected. I am powerful. I am a creator. I am co-creating my life with God, with the universe, through my thoughts, my feelings, my actions. What I say with emotion becomes true for me. How are you using your words? Are you using them for yourself, for a beautiful future, or against yourself? Talking about what you don't want. It's so easy to look around at what is current reality, and blame or complain and talk about what's not going well. But as we use our words for what we truly desire, then and only then can we find what we truly desire coming true for us. Neville Goddard says, every stage of man's progress is made by the conscious exercise of his imagination matching his inner speech to his fulfilled desire. And because mankind does not perfectly match words and imagination, the results are uncertain, while they might be perfectly certain. Persistent assumption of the wish fulfilled is the means of fulfilling the intention. As we control our inner talking, matching it to our fulfilled desires, we can lay aside all other processes. Then we simply act by clear imagination and intention. We imagine the wish fulfilled and carry on mental conversations from that premise, from the wish fulfilled, from the end goal, from the destination already reached. Whatever you desire and hold in your heart really does belong to you. It becomes your reality. As we observe our outside world, we're using our human senses, we're using our physical body to interpret the outside world. But we've been gifted with a beautiful imagination and intuition and reason. We've been gifted with will and perception and memory. We can use all of our higher mental faculties to think about what we really want. And as we get into that state of being already there, we start to get ideas. As we act, our reality is impacted. As we cause effects in our life, the universe reflects back to us what we've been thinking and feeling and doing. Look at your goal, something beautiful that you truly desire as the destination, and your emotion as the fuel that will get you to that destination. You can't go very far on an empty tank of gas in your vehicle, and you can't get what you want unless you emotionalize your goal, unless you add fuel to what it is that you really want. Get excited about it. Get emotionally invested in it. And then what you want shows up. The results in your life are here because of previous thinking, feeling, and doing. When you think about what you really want, your past doesn't have to be taken into the future. You don't have to use that as the reason why you can or cannot change your life. Neville Goddard says it's because we don't match our results with our inner speech that our results are uncertain. Persistent assumption of the wish fulfilled is the means of fulfilling the intention. What is it that you really want? I'm going to ask you to think about it, visualize it, get emotionally involved. Tell me what it's like to have your desire manifest into physical reality. What does it look like? How are you feeling now that it's already accomplished? Get a clear picture in your mind. What do you truly want? Neville Goddard goes on to say, through controlled inner talking from premises of fulfilled desire, seeming miracles are performed. The future becomes the present and reveals itself in our inner speech. To be held by the inner speech of fulfilled desire is to be safely anchored in life. Our lives may seem to be broken by events, but they are never broken so long as we retain the inner speech of fulfilled desire. Your desire is a seed and it's been planted in your heart. It's meant for you. The desire, the picture will be fulfilled, but it's a spiritual seed. And as a human being, we can't know exactly when that seed is ready to be harvested. We plant and then allow it to come to us, just like when you plant a garden. But when you plant a garden, you can tell how long it's going to take for the carrots to grow compared to the corn or the apple tree. Bob Proctor was famous for talking about an acorn growing into an oak tree. There is a patterned plan inside the acorn. It's a seed that when it's planted in the ground, it attracts to it the nutrients from the ground, the sunlight, the rain, everything that is needed to turn into an oak tree. But it's never going to turn into a rose bush or a carrot. An acorn is always going to turn into an oak tree because it has a patterned plan that it's only following one plan. As a spiritual being contained in a human body, you have spiritual seeds in you that can create whatever future you desire. You're not an oak tree, and you don't have to be what society tells you you should be, or your parents want you to be, or your spouse demands of you. You become what you think about. You become what you desire so long as you talk about it in your mind, in your dreams, and believe in it and take action. Through controlled inner talking from the wish fulfilled, from the premises of fulfilled desire, thinking and talking from the end, not thinking of your goal, but thinking from it. Seeming miracles are performed. The future becomes the present and reveals itself in our inner speech. To be held by the inner speech of fulfilled desire is to be safely anchored in life. All happiness depends on the active, voluntary use of imagination to construct and inwardly affirm that we are what we want to be. We match ourselves to our ideals by constantly remembering our aim and identifying ourselves with it. What is it that you are fusing your identity with? Have you really got a clear picture of the best version of you, the best version of your life, your desire already fulfilled? Neville says we fuse with our aims by frequently occupying the feeling of our wish fulfilled. It is the frequency, the habitual occupancy that is the secret of success. The oftener we do it, the more natural it is. And then he says, fancy assembles, continuous imagination fuses. So you start out in your imagination in that dreamy state. What is it that I would love? Getting relaxed and getting into the spirit of what is it like? What if that was true? What if it is mine? It's meant for me. I just have to get on the same page, get on the same frequency, think about, feel about how it looks, how it feels. What is my state of being? So that is the order. You have to be, then do, and then you have what you really want. You have to become the version of you that has the goal, and then as you're doing it, you have it. It shows up in your physical reality. Neville Goddard says it is possible to resolve every situation by the proper use of imagination. Our task is to get the right sentence, the one which implies that our desire is realized, and fire the imagination with it. Get fired up, get jazzed. What lights you up? All this is intimately connected with the mystery of the still small voice. Inner talking reveals the activities of imagination, activities which are the causes of the circumstances of life. As a rule, mankind is totally unaware of his inner talking and therefore sees himself not as the cause but the victim of circumstance. To consciously create circumstance, you must consciously direct your inner speech, matching the still small voice to your fulfilled desire. Romans 4:17 says, He calls things not seen as though they were. Do you have a clearly defined goal? What is it that you really want? Spend time visualizing it and then write it down. Write it down as a goal, a destination. Write it in the present tense. Write it as if it's already happened. If your desire had already manifested, how excited would you be to tell your best friend to just be comfortable in living that way? Wow, it's true, it's mine, it's here, it's now. You can write pages and pages of details of where you'll be, how you'll be dressed, who's celebrating with you, how much fun you're having. Maybe there's a smell or a taste associated with your beautiful goal, with your idea already manifested. You can put in lots of detail, and the key is to really feel it and then take a little card, a goal card, and write it down. And write down every single day. I am so happy and grateful now that whatever your goal is, it's here, it's now, I'm living it. Neville Goddard says right inner speech is essential. It is the greatest of the arts. It is the way out of limitation into freedom. Ignorance of this art has made the world a battlefield and a penitentiary where blood and sweat alone are expected, when it should be a place of marveling and wondering. Right inner talking is the first step to becoming what you want to be. Speech is an image of mind, and mind is an image of God. That comes from Hermetica. Now, Neville Goddard tells a little story. On the morning of April 12th, 1953, my wife was awakened by the sound of a great voice of authority speaking within her and saying, "You must stop spending your thoughts, your time, and your money. Everything in life must be an investment. To spend is to waste, to squander, to lay out without return. To invest is to lay out for a purpose from which a profit is expected. This revelation of my wife is about the importance of the moment. It is about the transformation of the moment. What we desire does not lie in the future, but in ourselves at this very moment. At any moment in our lives, we are faced with an infinite choice. What we are and what we want to be. And what we want to be is already existent, but to realize it, we must match our inner speech and actions to it. In the Bible, Matthew 18:19 says, "If two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven." It is only what is done now that counts. The present moment does not recede into the past. It advances into the future to confront us, spent or invested. Thought is the coin of heaven. Money is simply its earthly symbol. Every moment must be invested, and our inner talking reveals whether we are spending or investing. Neville Goddard says, "Be more interested in what you are inwardly saying now than what you have said by choosing wisely what you think and what you feel now." Anytime we feel misunderstood, misused, neglected, suspicious, afraid, we are spending our thoughts and wasting our time. Whenever we assume the feeling of being what we want to be, we are investing. Think about your thoughts as the best return of investment that you could possibly make. We cannot abandon the moment to negative inner talking and expect to retain command of life. Before us goes the results of all that seemingly is behind. Not gone is the last moment, but oncoming. Isaiah 55:11 says, "My word shall not return to me unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." The circumstances of life are the muffled utterances of the inner talking that made them, the word made visible. The word, said Hermes, is son, and the mind is father of the word. They are not separate from one another, for life is the union of word and mind. He willeth us forth from himself by the word of truth, said James in the Bible. Ephesians said, "Let us be imitators of God as dear children, and use our inner speech wisely to mold an outer world in harmony with our ideal." The Lord spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. That's in Samuel. The word of God is the mind of man. Feed God only the best. Philippians says, whatsoever things are of good report, think on these things. The present moment is always precisely right for an investment, to inwardly speak the right word. Deuteronomy 30:14-15 says, "The word is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it." See, I have set before you this day life and good, death and evil, blessings and cursings. Choose life. You choose life and good and blessings by being that which you choose. Like is known to like alone. Make your inner speech bless and give good reports. Mankind's ignorance of the future is the result of his ignorance of his inner talking. His inner talking mirrors his imagination, and his imagination is a government in which the opposition never comes into power. Whatever you talk about is true for you. If the reader asks, what if the inner speech remains subjective and is unable to find an object for its love? The answer is, it will not remain subjective, for the very simple reason that inner speech is always objectifying itself. What frustrates and festers and becomes the disease that afflicts mankind is man's ignorance of the art of matching inner words to fulfilled desire. Neville Goddard says inner speech mirrors imagination, and imagination is Christ. Alter your inner speech, and your perceptual world changes. Whenever inner speech and desire are in conflict, inner speech invariably wins, because inner speech objectifies itself. It is easy to see that if it matches desire, desire will be objectively realized. The tongue setteth on fire the course of nature. What are you talking about? What are you saying to yourself? Invest your words, your inner speech, in what you truly desire. If you match the words that you say to what you truly want, you become that. You think thoughts, you talk about what you're thinking about, you say what you believe, and what you believe manifests into reality for you. Watch your words, how you think, what you say, how you feel. That all becomes your reality. If you want a different reality, use different words to describe who you are, what you're capable of, and act in your imagination as if what you desire is already yours. Claim it, act like it's here now. Enjoy your life. Embody what it is that you truly desire. Embody the good that you want to see in the world and watch it manifest into being your life. First, you must be, then you do, then you can have whatever it is that you desire. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. At 9 o'clock, I'll be talking about your ideal and the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Join me back here tomorrow morning at 7 for another round of morning mindfulness. Thank you.